Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at my very first Diaclone review. Takara Tomy brought Diaclone back, I want to say 3 or so years ago, maybe a little bit longer. Kind of a rebirth. Diaclone, very popular back in the day, kind of late 70s and 80s. And basically, Diaclone was one of the bases, along with Microman, for the original Transformer toys brought over from Japan in the 80s. Obviously, Transformers kind of stemmed on its own since then, but the original molds, like Optimus Prime, first wave stuff basically, was a mixture of Diaclone and Microman toys. So, Diaclone's kind of back. It kind of went away for a time, and Takara Tomy started up this resurgence. I think I saw somewhere rebirth. I don't know. I can't back that up. In any case, this is a very, very tiny little mech, the Powered System Maneuver Alpha, which is a bit of a mouthful, but basically it is a tiny little robot that has a couple of different modes. They call the robot mode Maneuver Mode. Ride Mode, which to me, I'm sorry, just kind of looks like the robot sat down, but I guess it's supposed to be like a hovercraft at that point. They have a Mech Mode, Hangar Mode, Integrate Mode. Integrate Mode is when you're going to plug it into the chest of one of the larger robots, which we won't be seeing that today. I can show you the mode, but it's basically the Hangar Mode just with the robot head sticking up, but we'll show off how all that stuff works. So I think I got this one from TF Source, and the other thing about Diaclone is they are not cheap. This is a very expensive line, so if you're planning on buying into this, just know it's, you're probably going to bulk at some of these prices. I've been trying to get a few pieces here or there, things I find on sale or cheaper or something, because they're kind of pricey. It's kind of nuts. At first I thought it was because, oh, Diaclone, they're going to be die-cast metal like back in the day. I don't think there's any metal on this guy, so I'm not quite sure why it's as expensive as it is, but I will say that it's very intricate, and a lot of people say that the amount of engineering that goes into it is why they're so expensive, and I will give them that. They're very intricate. We'll use that word. But I'm going to go ahead, get this guy out of the box, and we're going to take a closer look. So here we go. This is everything you get in the box. No, I'm just kidding. There's more stuff inside this, but I do think it's neat how I would say 80% of what's in the box can fit in this little crate, and you'll see what I mean. But first off, we'll take a look at the little pilot. Now, right away, this tiny pilot reminds me very much of the tiny pilots that come with the Gundam Micro Wars candy toy line, and I'm sure this is probably what they're trying to emulate. So if you're into this line, but it just seems way too pricey for you, I would recommend the Gundam Micro Wars candy toy line, because it's very similar with the tiny little pilots. But you can see how intricate this is. I mean, I probably can't even do it justice on the camera, but the molding in the face is very well done for how tiny it is. It's incredibly intricate. He has a little ab crunch, as you can see. He's got kind of a limited ball joint in the shoulder. He's got 90-degree bend at the elbow, so that can spin around and has a little bit of in and out. Like I said, the ab crunch. He's got a limited ball joint in the hip. He's got 90-degree bend in the knee, and then he's got tiny magnets in his feet. So some of the larger bases have spots where you can kind of, pose the little figures around with magnets in their feet, which I think is pretty cool. So putting him off to the side and taking a look at the little, I guess, drop ship, for lack of a better term. This opens up, and then this flips up top. And this is kind of his arsenal, as you can see. Here's the little mech inside, and then here is the little hangar. I think this is so cool. I love the inclusion of this little hanger piece, and then you just kind of wiggle him out. He's very lightly pegged into the back, and there you go. Here is the mech, and like I said, it is very tiny. Very, very tiny. I mean, yes, this is in its folded up configuration, but just for comparison's sake, here is a Lego minifigure, just so you know the scale that we're talking here. So that's pretty tiny. But what you can do, you pop open the legs, bring them down. You can kind of rock this forward. Bring this leg down as well. Kind of rock the ankle forward. You're going to unpeg the arms from the waist, like so. And then there's a hinge here in the shoulder. And then you can bring this down. bring this forward. And then you're going to pop open this and flip out the head and then close it back up. And there you go. There is your tiny little robot mech. Let's bring that Lego minifigure back. You can see he's gotten pretty much twice as tall as he was in the folded up mode, so that's good. Gives him a little bit more credibility here. And I did forget to show the integration mode. The mode, when I first pulled it out, all you do is pull that open and flip the head out, and that's the integration mode. And then you can see that there's a peg hole on the back, and then that's going to peg in, although it might actually slide, it might channel into the shoulders. I'm not sure. I haven't got any of the larger robots yet. But that's how you peg it in, and then that kind of becomes the core, because a big part of this is that there's a lot of different core swapping. So you can get all these different cores, and then they plug into the larger robots, and then use the larger robots as like exosuits and stuff. So it's pretty neat. But as far as articulation goes, the head can swivel from side to side. You have that kind of butterfly hinge there in the shoulder, as well as a swivel there. You have a ball joint here, where the forearm hits the shoulder, as well as a hinge in the actual elbow. You have a wrist that can go up and down, as you can see there. Can't spin around, but it can go up and down. You don't really have any kind of waist movement, but you have a ball joint here in the hip. You have a bend. You kind of have a double jointed knee joint here. As you can see, there's one there and one there. So depending on how you need to move it. And then you have a swivel piece as well as a ball joint in the actual ankle itself. So there's a ton of articulation on this guy. If you want to open this up, and you can open this up as well, and then you can take the little human pilot, and he just goes right inside. And I'm not lining him up correctly, so I apologize. There we go. Close that up. Close that up. And then there you go. He is now inside the mech. And they have tons of other things for this little mech to kind of pilot into. It's basically the whole point of the line. You get a bunch of these tiny little mechs, and then you have a bunch of other suits, wing adapters, all kinds of crazy things to plug these guys into. But I love the little hangar area. I think that's so cool. You have all these accessories up here. So if we take off his gun, and you can just go ahead and have him hold that in his hand. Just pegs right in very simply. So there you go. You can see he's got a gun here. He does have another peg over here, so you can get him, if you use the butterfly joint and all of these hinges that are made available, you can get him to hold that gun with both hands if you would like him to. I can do it better than this, but just to get this done. Oh, I forgot there's a swivel here as well. There's a swivel in the arm there as well, and that's going to become very important in a moment. I can talk. For all of the rest of these accessories that we have over here. So what you can do is you take the arm at that swivel I just showed you, and you just pop it out. So now he has this kind of open space, and you can take either of these. And I'm not going to get all of them down, but they give you one for each arm. So if you want him to dual wield any of these, you certainly can. And then you just take this piece and slide it in. And now he has kind of a gun arm, Mega Man style. Or you can back this one out and pop this in. And now he's got a blade arm, which I think looks pretty neat. So I don't know. I kind of miss a ball joint in the shoulder, because I kind of wish he could go out to the side a little bit, but I get it. It's because of the other modes where you have to fold the shoulders in. But overall, I think that's pretty neat. You've got a ton of accessory options there. He looks good. He can have gun arms. He can have blade arms. You can just hold a gun, and then you just store all these back in here very simply. I think it's cool. I really do. I think this is a ton of fun. Like I said, it's an expensive line, but it's definitely very neat. And you can see all the paint applications. There's no stickers or anything. Very, very sharp. Very neat. Now let's get into a couple of these other modes here. I'm going to, we can leave the sword in there for now. I'll show off the, what they call Mech Mode, where you take this and you can see there's kind of a slide here. This slides all the way back, and then you just kind of bring the legs down like so. And then if you want to kind of make him a little bit more squat, you can. You don't have to. I kind of like to do the legs like this, just so that they're a little bit more. You bring this down, and then you just, this kind of just hangs back here, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you take the pilot out, and then you can see there's a little black rectangle back here, which is the back of his seat, and you just lift that up, and then get this to balance. You will have him sit up in the space, and then you feed him back into here. And then this is supposed to kind of act as like a canopy. Now, unfortunately, the head just kind of sits back there, which is a bummer. Although, I guess technically, could I fold this in like that? I guess I could do that, and then just kind of have that sit like that. I could do that. And so this is supposed to be the Mech Mode, because it's kind of just like a squat, like lifter that he just kind of rides around in. Instead of it being a mech suit, it's just kind of like something for him to quick jump in and pilot. So this mode's okay. It's definitely not my favorite, but it is what it is. And then the other thing they have is the ride mode, which is just kind of having this. Let me move this back up. Hold on, how do we have this go? I think it goes up like this. Yeah, there we go. So it's very similar to how you pack it up for the I think you have to slide this back down. Let me make sure this isn't encumbered by anything. Slide that back down, and then you kind of sit this like this, and then put the arms back, and just have them kind of like hang down. I don't know. I don't really get this. This is supposed to be the ride mode. I guess like it just kind of like ferries around. I don't really know. To me, it almost looks like it powered down. Like it kind of just looks like he wanted to get out, so he just had it all like sit down so it could open up for him. That's what it looks like to me. And maybe that is what it's supposed to be. Maybe ride mode is kind of like getting ready to ride it. So it's like powering down and getting down close to the ground so that he can actually get into it, and then kind of close it back up and get ready to go. Oh, I forgot I have to open this up and pull the head back out. And then just kind of have him stand back up. So that's all the modes that they officially tell you. I mean, anything else you can come up with, obviously, you can do. But I think they're neat. I just wish they weren't as expensive as they are, because I really do like how intricate they are. I like the little robots. I like the extra armaments with like the blade arms and the gun arms and all that kind of stuff. And the little pilots are really, really neat. And when you start to get into some of the larger robots, how they kind of have like base configurations and things like that, it's a really cool line. So if you're thinking about this line, I would just kind of check around and see. Maybe you can find some stuff on sale or wait for a coupon or something. Because it is kind of a pricey line, but I think it's really neat. I can't wait. I have a couple more pieces that I'm going to check out. So we'll see how it all goes. But it's definitely going to be a line that I kind of have to wait and pick and choose, and the ones that I really, really like, or if I can find something on sale, something like that. So not going to be able to go whole hog crazy on this line because it's a bit pricey. But I think this is a really cool set. I think I paid $40 for this. I'm trying to remember. I either got it at Big Bad Toy Store or TF Source, one of those kind of websites. I think it's a little bit more expensive. One, because it's a little bit older at this point. Two, because you're using like a US site that had to get it from Japan, pay those import fees and shipping and everything, and then kind of pass all that price on to you. I think if you could buy it directly from a Japanese store, then you're just paying shipping. So I think you get it a little bit cheaper. But yeah, it's definitely not an inexpensive line. Again, I don't know why it's so pricey. There's not any die-cast metal in these anymore as far as I can tell. But what you do get is actually really cool. I love the little hanger. I think that's so fun. I love how you can kind of compact it up so small. I just wish you could also fit the pilot inside, but unfortunately you cannot. But yeah, definitely recommend these if you can afford them, or maybe just, you know, kind of budget yourself and do a little bit at a time. Here, I'm gonna bring the box back in. But yeah, it's definitely a really cool line, and I definitely recommend maybe dipping a toe into it if you can. Or like I said, if you're on a budget and you want something similar, I recommend the Gundam Micro Wars candy toy line, because it's very similar, but certainly a lot cheaper and a lot more manageable. So yeah, but overall, for the first foray into Diaclone, I think it's pretty cool. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.